What if I told you that ignoring mine safety laws could actually land you in jail? Yep, MSHA, just like OSHA, isn't only about fines and citations. In fact, some mine operators, supervisors, and even boots-on-the-ground miners have been sent to prison. Today's video goes a little off the rails, so buckle up. If you like our YouTube videos, make sure to check out our video subscription to access over 150 video courses. Check it out at allysafety.com. Hi, I'm Rachel from Ally Safety, and I'm a workplace health and safety pro. Today, I'll walk you through how individuals can be criminally prosecuted under MSHA and give you real-life examples of mine operators and employees who served time for violating mine safety laws. Now, first things first, MSHA, also known as the Mine Safety and Health Administration, is a little different from OSHA. It was created under the Federal Mine Safety and Health Act of 1977, also known as the Mine Act, and it gives the federal government broader authority to pursue criminal charges when miners are placed at serious risk or harmed. Now, unlike the perpetually underfunded and understaffed OSHA, MSHA actually has some serious power behind it. I sort of think of MSHA like OSHA on steroids. Now, under the Mine Act, MSHA can recommend criminal charges for 4 things: knowingly violating a mandatory health or safety standard, giving advance notice of an inspection, making false statements, representations, or certifications, and interfering with, hindering, or delaying an MSHA inspection. And if the violation results in a miner's death, sentencing can be more severe. So how does an MSHA case turn criminal? Well, here's the typical process. If MSHA comes knocking, it's not because they're selling Girl Scout cookies. MSHA conducts investigations, either periodically or following serious incidents or fatalities. If they find that someone knowingly violated a standard or covered up conditions, they refer that case to the U.S. Department of Justice, also known as the DOJ, for possible criminal prosecution. At that point, the federal prosecutors decide whether or not to pursue charges. Now, while OSHA rarely prosecutes criminally, MSHA has historically been much more aggressive, especially in the wake of high-profile disasters. Think of OSHA like a sitcom dad. MSHA is like the dad from Taken. And not to steal Liam Neeson's line, but MSHA officers have a very particular set of skills. Skills they have acquired over a very long career. Skills that make them a nightmare for people like you. That is, if you're the type of person that's trying to cover up violations. With that in mind, let's look at some examples of actual jail time under MSHA. Example 1, Upper Big Branch Mine Disaster. One of the most infamous mining disasters in US history, and one that led directly to criminal charges. In 2010, 29 miners died in a massive explosion at the Upper Big Branch Mine in West Virginia. The investigation revealed that the company had a strong history of willful safety violations, poor ventilation, and coal dust accumulation, all factors that contributed to the explosion. The CEO was charged with conspiracy to willfully violate mine safety standards. He was convicted in 2015 and sentenced to 1 year in federal prison, the maximum allowed for that charge under the Mine Act at that time. Now, this was the first time a major US coal executive served hard time for a workplace safety crime. He ended up trading his white collar and executive suite for an orange jumpsuit and a cell block. Example 2. Advance notice of an inspection. Did you know it's illegal to tip someone off that MSHA is on the way? In 2021, a foreman at a Kentucky coal mine was convicted of giving advance notice of an upcoming MSHA inspection. The foreman called ahead to let workers know to shut off mining equipment that was being operated illegally. MSHA investors were tipped off about this and found that ventilation controls had been falsified and that the mine was operating unsafely. The foreman was sentenced to 6 months in prison, followed by supervised release. This is a reminder that when you're dealing with MSHA, snitches don't get stitches, they get jail time. Example 3, falsifying safety records. Another foreman at a Kentucky mine was convicted in 2023 for submitting false dust sampling records to MSHA. The foreman actually falsified entries to make it look like the mine was compliant with respirable dust standards, which are essential in preventing black lung. The problem? No dust samples had actually been taken. Investigators found out, and the foreman was sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in prison. Nothing says bad life choices quite like a felony conviction over fake dust logs. Now, I don't know a lot about prison dynamics, but I doubt that's the type of charge that makes you look like the toughest guy on the cell block. Falsifying sampling records is actually considered a federal crime under the Mine Act. Now, how do you avoid ending up in MSHA's crosshairs? Here's what you need to do. Follow the standards. Like OSHA, MSHA's standards were written after preventable tragedies and need to be taken seriously. Don't falsify or tamper with safety inspections. If you're a supervisor, don't pressure workers into taking shortcuts. You may be held personally responsible. And finally, when in doubt, report unsafe conditions and do not try to cover them up. Safety regulations exist for a reason. Protecting miners' lives is serious business, and so are the consequences for ignoring that responsibility. Getting a felony for mine safety violations is what you call digging yourself into a hole. What do you think? Are these sentences too lenient or too strict? Have you ever seen anything like this at places you've worked? Thank you so much for watching. As always, take care and stay safe. Hi. Rachel from Ally Safety here. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the Ally Safety Toolbox Talk membership at allysafety.com. There you'll find an entire library of videos that are created to make safety entertaining. I'll see you there at allysafety.com.